Nation is out now. The best of the Gerry Ryan Show comedy series on one fantastic album.
It's bleeding better than Nicky from Boy's Life.
Sign the contract.
Get your knobs out for Ireland.
Available now in all good record stores and some crap ones as well. RTE, supporting the knobs. Dig Out Pictures present the most breathtaking movie of the year. Starring Bartholomew Ahern and based on the novel by Cecilia. P.S. I owe you.
Jesus, boss, I need help. I'm bleeding broke.
The year was 1993. He was a young minister in crisis.
I told you not to hang around with such shabby people, plasterers, builders and publicans. They lack class, Bertie. How can you soar like an eagle when you're surrounded by turkeys? But they're me boyhood pals, boss. I can't let them go. Well, ask them for a loan then. I can't help you with my overheads. What with butlers, stables and mistresses to keep, not to mention ivory back scratchers and...
His only crime was to ask for a little help.
Paddy, look, I know you're just a plasterer from Cavan, but I need a wee loan.
I'll organise a whip around with some of the lads.
Oh.
Paddy English here is only 10, but he's willing to help.
People of South Tipperary behind you, Bertie. I'll give you the tenner I had in me piggy bank.
Thanks.
But I was only saving for the Sega Mega Drive anyway, you know.
Thanks, wee Barry.
Sound.
Why is there a fork in Paddy's sugar bowl, by the way?
Because he's a main Cavan whore.
Our hero became a leader, but soon the dark forces began to work against him. You must tell the truth. The entire nation is watching, Bertie.
Dobbo, I did not have sexual relations with that man, Emmett Stagg. I never told anyone to lie. Not a single time, never.
Really?
These allegations are false.
Did you steal the money?
It was the 90s. I couldn't even afford Max Factor. I was reduced to oil of Olay, for pity's sake.
The people stood by him, but soon dark clouds would return to the horizon. Who had dinner with you in Manchester?
It's not what you think. Look, Barry the baker didn't even eat his dinner. And Jimmy the joiner is lactose intolerant, so he couldn't stay for dessert. And Fergal the farmer, he didn't even buy me a pint. Yous are all gone mad.
Now he faces his greatest foe in the witness stand. I put it to you, Mr. Ahern,
Please.
that you are in fact guilty of
No.
murder.
No, I never, Mr. Mahan, please.
It's Judge Mahan to you, peasant. You did it in the billiards room with the candlestick. Colonel Mustard saw you.
I did not.
I want longer and more complicated answers from you, Ahern, because the longer they are, the more money I make. This year, the mob is baying for his blood. Crucify Bertie!
Spill his blood. Kill him.
He does not deserve to live! Kill, 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 kill! It's time for our hero to rise and fight the enemies of the state.
You need to get out, Bertie. Run away. If we fight, we'll all die.
Yeah, fighting yous may die. Running yous will live. At least a while. But years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this to that for one chance? Just one chance to come back and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our pay rise!
If you owe yourself one thing this season, it's to see the inspirational picture of the decade, P.S. I Owe You, featuring scenes of a sexual nature.
There's no way I'm getting me kit off. This country's not ready for that yet.
And strong language.
Judge Mahan is a f***ing box.
Open your hearts and your wallets. P.S. I Owe You. In cinemas now. Rated 18.
Willie, good morning.
Good morning, Gerry. How are you doing? Top of the morning.
Good. Doing a lot of yawning and stretching.
Well, my granny used to say you should be down on your knees thanking God you're on your feet.
Down on my knees, thanking God I'm on my feet. I like it.
Yeah, well, it's the old dub saying.
It's good, it's very good. Now, you have a story about a crib that you made years ago.
Yes, I was listening to you there during the week about, people having the old fairy lights and that sort of thing, how long...
That's right, with fairy lights for 51 years old.
Yeah, well, when we lived in the tenements in Dublin, up in Charlemont Street, we didn't have electricity. And my old man, I think, went to Woolworths at one stage, and he got these plasticine moulds, and he made 3 statues. of a crib. One of the baby and one of Mary and one of the gaffer himself, Jay. And for years and years, that's all we had. But we had one black fella. And now there's people going to be ringing up saying things and all, but we were kids born up in the top landing. And Angela's Ashes was, something like you'd never seen. It truly happened. No electricity,
No electricity at all.
No.
Just plasticine moulds.
Yeah, but you see, the thing about it was in the Liberties and in around Charlemont Street and Mount Pleasant buildings and all these sort of things. We had a bit of a rough time. There was a load of us, but to keep one another warm. There was 5 boys and 3 girls.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were saying up the landings we'd go, and hence the name, the mantelpiece. Because we had a gas lamp.
Yeah.
Up in the room, and the thing that went on the gas lamp was the mantle.
That's right.
And that was kept up over the fire, and that's where the statues were put. When my old man, and he painted one fella black, because you didn't have like Woolworths or big shops that you could go and get loads of paints, but he just painted them, and I still have them to this day, and that's the only crib I would put up. But he told us and read us all when we were kids, the little black statue was the boogeyman.
The boogeyman?
Yeah. And if you didn't get in at a certain time, this fella would go out looking for you. And how you couldn't see him coming. He'd be in the dark, and that's why he was black. He'd sneak up and catch us and take us away. So, because when the gas lamps, the glimmer man would come around, fella on the bike, and he'd hire the lamp and lower the lamp. And my dad told us, that's what his job was. He was a corporation fella.
Was your old man a glimmerman?
No, my old man worked in the sewer department. But he knew the glimmer man because they were all corpo blokes, And they all lived. And when the next thing, when we were in the tenements and things were rough, we had the Beano that we used to go down to in the Liberties. And we used to go down there. There was a Mrs. Smith, I think, or Simons or something, and she used to give us the cocoa and buns when things were a bit on the rough side. So, when I sit back and I'd be telling me kids, "Yes, have it made," and they'd say, "Oh, the good old days. These are the good old days." You
better believe it. The number of times I've said that.
You,
the days that you lived in, days of TB and poverty.
Well, I had a brother, and he died, and it was known as rickets, they called it.
Rickets.
Yeah.
That was polio.
It was hunger, Gerry.
Yeah.
There was fancy words for everything, for the TB, and only for Guinnesses in the Liberties at that time. They had the Ivy Mark and the cheap food and the leftovers, and I remember going down Camlin Street, and people, when the dealers were finished in Camlin Street, they used to make a plain stew. And then there was no meat. They just get the leaves and the turnips and the whole lot. And Christmas came and went as it was just a day. We were 5, I must have been 5.
What did you do, Willie, on Christmas Day? What was involved in Christmas Day?
As far as I remember, we used to go down and play with the other kids' toys, most of us. I don't think we were. I remember that my old man used to buy us clothes. Well, now, they wouldn't be new, but he'd buy us, And I remember getting a pair of bumpers for Christmas. Now, they were shoes at the time. They were big old soapy sole canvas shoes.
Yeah.
And I got them, and I thought I was the bees and A's, them and my short trousers going down, And for years I was trying to get a pair of long trousers, until I grew into the stage where I needed them. But not only me, my bros as well, And then the Army Navy stores came, and then we started growing up, But there used to be great crack about...
And was there Christmas lunch on Christmas Day?
No, Gerry. It was the day came and it went. There's people then got houses Christmas started when we moved out to the corporation houses, when we got electricity, when we had the toilet upstairs in our own house. It wasn't the one on the landing for the two families, And we used to have the bucket on the landing, and that thing, Angela's Ashes.
Yes, indeed I do.
Jesus, that was well-to-do. That was all. They had shoes running around and that, and overcoats on them and everything. So that never happened at all. They might have lived in the, dampness and the bad roofs and the houses, but sure, that never happened. They're all boots and look at them wearing overcoats running around and that sort of thing.
You didn't have any of that?
Not at all. But I grew up and reared a great family and have great grandchildren and have a nice house now, myself and ourselves, and we're still together after all of these years, But we're old stock, and I love meeting my brothers, and when we meet, we keep all our family united, all nephews and nieces, they all love one another. There's never been a crossword or any function, any wedding, anything. We'd sit down and we'd talk to our sons. We reared them, and all our daughters and sons who were all in FCA, did great for them, things like that. I remember my brother joining the FCA and he coming home with a big overcoat, my eldest brother. And Jesus, it was the best thing we ever had on the bed. So we couldn't all wait to join. But Christmas came and went as Christmas comes and goes.
What do you do this Christmas, Willie? Who do you spend it with?
Well, I'm spending this Christmas now, Mammy and me were asked to our son's house. Yeah. And we'll go there. He's out in Selbridge, thank God, and he's just had a new baby, and we're going to see our granddaughter. And my daughter will join us then with all the grandchildren that evening, and we'll sit around and we tell stories and we talk and we try to keep the old telly out of it as much as we can for the one day. Everybody wants the kids that want to play the PlayStation, but they don't like to see me coming sometimes, the grandchildren, because you have to put everything away and sit down with Grandad,
And have a real chat.
Yeah, we do. We talk about everything, and not keep reminding them of what they have and what they haven't got. But there's a million of us out there, country lads and dubs and, all sorts of us, and we all sit down, and I'm sure they sit back and they think, the good old days, you could leave a key in the door. Jesus, leave the door up on the landing, and there was 2 families lived in, and we'd a court, and we'd no door to leave open. And if you broke into our house when we were kids, you'd leave something if you saw the days. Jesus,
Do you sing a song at Christmas, do you?
We all do, we all do a party piece.
Have you got one of your party piece yourself, Willie?
I have, yeah. I do my mother's song.
Can I hear it?
Yeah. Around the world I've searched for you. I've travelled on when hope was gone. We'll keep a rendezvous. For I knew somewhere, sometime, somehow, you'd look at me and I would see that smile you're smiling now. For it might have been in County Down, or in New York, or Gay Paris, or even London town. No more will I go all around the world, for I have found my world in you. Now, Gerry.
That was absolutely wonderful.
My ma's song.
I know.
The good old days. If you go to an old slash up now with a couple of, tins now, and that sort of thing, she asks a young fella to sing, and he's banging his head off the wall, and he's jumping up and down, and he's running around, and he's... Jesus, I do think it's them, they're on them tablets again, I said,
Listen,
the only good thing about the Christmas with us, Gerry, we never knew drugs. We didn't have an idea. So we never even had a hangover. Unless it was from a cup of soup or something.
No turkey, no drugs.
No turkey, BJ's, never heard of it.
Listen, I've got something for you, though, from Santa's sack. You'll probably give it to Mammy.
Well, that's who I'd want it for.
Do you know what it is?
And
it's to spend as you wish.
God.
It's a Brown Thomas gift card. It's like a credit card. And she can go to Brown Thomas's with it, and she can spend up to €500.
Jesus Christ, Henry. The nearest they ever got to Brown Thomas's with the kids was looking in the window.
Well, now you're going inside with €500 to spend.
Happy God, Jerry. Well, a happy Christmas to you.
And a happy Christmas to you. God bless you.
And all in your bow.
And all in
Have
my
a good
boat.
one.
God bless.
God bless you.
19 to 92. The Gerry Ryan Show, Monday to Friday, 9 till 12 on 2FM.
Now, let's see. JJ, good morning to you.
Morning, Gerry. How are you?
Bingo the dog, eh?
Oh, home safe and sound, yeah.
Well, it was very good news. This is the man who lost his Toyota Land Cruiser. Stopped outside Enfield, I think it was on Monday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And his trailer and the Land Cruiser, with everything in it, literally his entire life and business, and his dog, Bingo, was snafu'd from literally under your nose. Now, I haven't heard any word on the Land Cruiser yet, or maybe you'll bring me up to date on that, but I do know yesterday we got a call because we talked to the man on air. He was a bit reluctant to go on air now, mind you. I don't think he was seeking publicity, but he had a dog who seemed to be licking his own balls, giving the impression that he'd had an operation, though dogs do that because they can. And he seemed to match the description of a lab collie cross. Did it turn out to actually be Bingo?
Yeah.
Way!
Perfect, yeah.
It's a win.
That guy that found him, Tommy, he's a very nice guy.
Apparently so, yeah.
Spoiled him rotten. Kids spoiled him rotten and everything else, and he kind of babysat him for 2 days. So, yeah, thanks to the Gerry Ryan Show.
Oh, fantastic. I'm so pleased about that. So that's one down.
That was it. And I don't know whether you know or not, but I was on my way to collect him yesterday, and the police rang me, and somebody had rang in, said that they heard on the show that was missing a Land Cruiser, and it was found in Enfield, or in Kilcock, about 2 hours later.
You're joking. They found the Land Cruiser.
They got the Land Cruiser. It was a tip-off from the Gerry Ryan Show. Somebody rang the police, said they heard it on the Gerry Ryan Show, and by the way, there's one parked outside my house. So
yes! Yes!
So there you go.
I can do it. I have influence. I have power. I can do it. I can do it. Oh, yes, I feel it. I feel the power surging through me. I must control myself.
So that's it.
Well, now, more to the point. There was a lot of very personal and private stuff in the Land Cruiser.
All there.
You're joking.
Yeah, all there.
Sorry.
I think it got so much publicity yesterday morning that it got too hot for anybody to touch, so they just abandoned it.
Sorry, I feel there's rays of light coming out of my head at the moment. This is really, really good news. First of all, a big round of applause for those people who were involved in helping us track down Bingo. That was, I really could tell that you were very, very upset about that yesterday, right? And I know that the kids were, you've a little boy as well, haven't you?
7, yeah, George.
Yeah, and he was particularly upset that Bingo disappeared. So that's great. Everybody, of course, nobody gives a shit about the Land Cruiser, to be honest, except you.
Well, yeah, that's
everybody's ringing and going, thank God Bingo's back. And I'm delighted, but I'm also, as a man, I'm delighted that the Land Cruiser is back as well. That's
there you go now.
Isn't that, you must be absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, well, I've just been slagged all morning about this stupid grin I've got across my face, so,
Hey, well, it's good news.
A lot of people don't understand people with dogs, but,
I know, I do.
They'll get over it.
And all your stuff was there, all the bits and pieces for work and everything.
Yeah, just took the phone and a few other little odds.
You can live with that.
You can live with that,
You can live with that. Isn't that great?
So, that's it. Listen, I'd like to thank Fiona on your show as well.
Yeah, she worked her butt off.
She did, in fairness. And all the guys that know me, I had people ring me from Sligo and from Cork and everywhere once I heard it, so.
Okay, I'm going to give you something out of Santi's sack. Hold on a second. Do you drink coffee?
Lots of it.
Okay, I've got a beautiful thing that makes beautiful stuff. Endorsed by Mr. George Clooney, available in Brown Thomas. Gaggia, they're the legendary Italian market leaders in espresso machine technology, and we've got a beautiful Gaggia machine for you.
Thank you very much.
So you're doing okay this Christmas. JJ, glad to be of service.
Thank you very much.
It's what we do. Good morning.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, do you know what? That is just such fantastic news. I mean, I thought it was great when I heard that there was a very strong likelihood that we gotten the dog back, because obviously when the guys nicked the van, literally nicked his Land Cruiser and his trailer from under his nose, right? He just stopped for a few minutes. I think it was the roundabout outside Enfield on Monday, and boom, gone. Okay, so they threw the dog out, got rid of the dog. Dog found yesterday. That was the first thing we heard. And then literally that's the first time that I've heard. I didn't know that they had found his Toyota Land Cruiser. Quite an unusual one as well. It would have been, a great loss to him. But more to the point, like his entire business, like all his documentation, the guy's obviously involved in the building trade, and all his stuff was in there. Everything, plans for projects he was involved in, all sorts of stuff, briefcases, you name it, everything was in there. And it's been found. Isn't that just great? Tip off from a Ryan Show listener. Well, whoever you are, a Ryan Show listener, thank you so much indeed. Tommy, thank you so much for taking care of JJ. And that's just really, really, really good news. It's the best news.
Gerry